Friday nights in Raleigh belong to wrestling, especially when the Pack has a chance to gather outside their palace. Reynolds Coliseum jam-packed, and red is the color, not because it's Valentine's Day, but because Stanford is in town and it's senior night. Kaya Rainey, the two-time defending ACC champ, being honored, one of 7 seniors for the Wolfpack. A lot on the line tonight. Everybody chasing NC State. Virginia Tech, North Carolina still with a shot, but it is the Wolfpack who control their own destiny. And a pleasant good evening. Sean Kinney alongside Rock Harrison. So great to have you with us, Rock. We just saw those standings. 3 teams right now in the hunt for the regular season title.
Well, it looks like there's separation, but this match right here is going to be a good match between the Card and the Wolfpack.
Ooh, first time ever, by the way, on that. All right, senior night here in Raleigh. It's emotionally driven. 7 seniors recognized, one in particular who's known to throw a headlock here and there, Mr. Ed Scott.
Ed Scott, really good on top, has a cross reels tilt, but also because he's from Pennsylvania, you know he's going to throw a fireman's headlock. But as you said, Sean, he will lock up and throw a headlock. And when he gives a headlock, it's good night. Ed Scott, senior night.
87 career wins for Scott here on senior night, a chance to be recognized. And when you have that headlock and that big move potential, you are always a fan favorite. For Stanford, they are without their young stud for the 2nd straight duel. No Lorenzo Norman, he is out, but there are plenty of other options when you look up and down this lineup.
What's going to happen, they have some freshmen that are stepping up for Stanford that make sure that they're on national TV and make an impact.
We're going to start the night at 133 pounds, and this is going to be a good one. 2 similar styles colliding. Tyler Knox, the young freshman from the West Coast. One of those seniors honored, the 2-time champ, Kaya Rainey. The final home duel of the year for North Carolina State inside Reynolds Coliseum. The first all-time meeting with Stanford and NC State. And the Wolfpack raised their arm in victory, a forfeit at 125 pounds. And the good-looking redshirt freshman, Vince Robinson, now 18-1 on the season. What an impact he's made for Pat Papalizio. So we go to 133, Rock, and 2 similar styles, a veteran against an up-and-comer.
You're absolutely right in that similar style. They're tough to take down. Look at this Orini. Leg up in the air against an All-American San Antonio. Puts that right foot down. He is very tough to take down on his feet. Not to be outdone by Tyler Knox. Sneaky guy. You get in on him. He has long legs and really good hips. He is another tough person. And not just that, they're good on top. It's going to be a really tight match between guys that are tough to take down and guys that are really, really stout on top.
Couple of ranked wrestlers. Tyler Knox, the redshirt freshman, ranked 7th in the country, 20-3 this year. Keep in mind, Kyle Rainey started this season up at 141. He made the move back down to 133 right before the Christmas break. Rainey 3-2 since that move to 133 pounds, and now for the final time here inside Reynolds Coliseum on senior night, he is ready to go with the good-looking freshman Knox.
What a good way to start Friday night duels. I was looking forward to this match since the beginning of the year.
Keep in mind, Stanford was in action last night, a win against Princeton. As you see Arini get that front headlock position, quickly swivel off to the side, no control yet. Knox tried to hit a roll.
No control.
And that's what we're talking about with Knox. He is very crafty, but not to be outdone by Arini, who's just as crafty. Look at this, moving around. Good position, no control yet. As I said, they're tough to take down. There's a takedown by Knox. 3-0. Knox gets himself in positions where you would say, look, he's going to panic. But for a freshman, he doesn't really panic. Looks like he's going in a position where he's going to put on his back, and he's just going to hang out and just accumulate riding time.
Into that tripod position underneath. Arini trying to slip through the back door here. You see Knox getting a little high. So what's he do? He reaches across for that far ankle. Boy, this is a precarious spot for both wrestlers.
And this is what we're talking about. Most people would panic here, but not Knox. But we're in a tough position right here. He's going to pull the legs, look for back points. Look at this. He's not panicking. My knee would be torn. My hamstring would be gone in this position. This is rough. I can't explain this. It's not a spladle. Because both legs are in. They're looking for back points. Back points got to be coming up soon. Nothing unbelievable. This looks painful as all get out.
And now Patrick Frank will say that's enough, potentially dangerous, as Orini's leg straightened out as far as it could go.
I mean, it was straight leg. That hamstring has been stretched and stretched and stretched. And as we see, Kai Orini just walking around. Look at the pull. And you can see, look at the grimace. This is just uncomfortable. We talked about Tyler Knox positions where you should normally be able to panic, but he's not panicking. Good stuff here.
Quick stand up by Orini. Approaching a minute to go in this opening period. A terrific scramble that ended up with Knox getting the only takedown. And you see the riding ability that this freshman from Groveland, Massachusetts has. Traveled all the way across the country for the opportunity to wrestle for Stanford.
That's one.
Absolute hammer on top, sticks in that leg near the edge.
He's really nifty with his hips, but good job by Orini to figure out where he was. Gets to an escape right on their feet.
Out of bounds. We have action.
Orini gets the point. 30 seconds to go in this opening period. 1:43 of riding time, though, on that last carry by Tyler Knox.
As we saw Orini walk back to the center, he's still shaking out that left leg. That hamstring that was stretched out in the first period, still stretching. Weirdly enough, Tyler Knox seems like he likes being underneath in this position right there where a lot of guys are panicking. It seems like he does his damage from this position.
Orini trying to get that late takedown to close out this first period, but again, as Rock mentioned, just no panic from Knox. Even though he's a freshman, he wrestles as if he's a senior.
And here's the first takedown. He just followed the hips, got behind, takedown, and then he just put a really tough ride in this scenario.
So they are going to take a look at the end of that first period. Patrick Frank and Jim Rebello are going to take a look to see if indeed Orini established control before the end of that first period, and maybe the three coming NC State's way.
Rule number one is control is always felt. So it's the discretion of the official to say, I believe that one wrestler is in control. So what the officials are doing right now is saying, we need to check to make sure that we made the right call. And their call was there was no takedown for Kai Orini, even though NC State and thousands of fans here thinks it was, but let's look at it. So there's a roll, at that point, the whistle came. If we can get back a little further, we can kind of see where it is. And they just wanted to look to make sure where it was. So here's the call. Nothing yet.
After further review, the ruling on the mat is confirmed. There is no takedown.
And officials are going to make their call.
After further review, the ruling on the mat is confirmed. There is no takedown. We can see.
All right, so they go back to the table. They take multiple looks at it. And the ruling on the mat stands, and no takedown for Pat Papalizio and his redshirt senior. Year 13 for Papalizio here in Raleigh. So we start the second period, a 3-1 lead. Knox on top. He'll begin underneath.
Kai Orini, and Sean, you know this, throughout the NCAAs, he has made his money on tight mats like this, being able to ride. But this guy Knox just does some really unique things.
Green started.
And so he's pulling that knee to the side. Could be potentially dangerous to pull it that way. But you see how he did that? He pulled it out, and then once he readjusted, he's going to what's called a high C position. Still in control is Orini, but better position right now for Knox. He's going to reach across and drive. Watch him just start to drive. Drive, and there's a reversal.
So the 2 on the reversal by Tyler Knox. His Friday night duels debut, and he is not disappointing, taking some of the starch out of Reynolds Coliseum right now.
He is. And when you have someone that's able to ride like he does, it really is deflating, not just to the wrestler, but to the fan base. Senior night, and one of our guys, two-time All-American, two-time ACC champion, it's getting a lot of riding time.
When you look at Tyler Knox, an extensive freestyle background, placed 5th at the U23 Pan Ams. He actually represented Puerto Rico in the tournament in Columbia, graduate of St. John's Prep, Danvers, Massachusetts, won 3 state championships. He was a New England title holder as well.
He is continuing to move left side, right side, and doing things that are just a little just unpredictable, not things that you normally see. Usually when the leg is in on one side, you want to cross body, but Tyler Knox is just doing some different things, and he's not panicking.
Stop. We have a side headlock.
So there's a stall call side. So here's reversal. Lots of moving, and then he just drives across to get the reversal. You see him just drive across, and then Kyrie just concedes.
Real quick bookkeeping toward the end of that second period. Stall call was given, I believe, for that side headlock.
It was. And look at this. Orini said, I'm going to go on my feet. I'm not going underneath this freshman.
So a pretty uphill battle to climb here for Kai Orini. A couple of minutes plus worth of riding time in Knox's corner, a 5-1 advantage as well.
Once again, Knox is underneath, and he enjoys this position. This is the 3rd time that we've seen Orini kind of cut and get to the corner, but somehow or another, Knox is not giving up a takedown.
Knox will not let go of Orini's right wrist, right forearm there, allowing Orini to completely work that 180 and get around to the side and eventually control. And now Knox on that roll, and it's a scramble, and he has Orini in a vulnerable spot.
It's like he baits people to think that they're going to get behind and chase him, but he does enough just to put the opponent in a tough position. And right now, it's a neutral danger. Look at this scramble fest.
No, we're out of it. We're out of it. We're out of it.
What we're seeing right now is unbelievable patience by a freshman against a senior, 2-time All-American. And he's just getting enough motion. It's just on and on. A+ scrambling by both guys right here.
We have seen some unorthodox positions, and it is Knox coming out on top again, 8-1. Plus, keep in mind, he has riding time locked, and on a night where Stanford's a little short-handed, these bonus point opportunities, huge.
Hey, it's 8-1. Riding time is locked up. Could be a bonus point with the freshman coming into Reynolds. I'm telling you, the patience that Tyler Knox has, not panicking, putting himself in what looks like dangerous positions, but obviously he's very controlled. Very good start for Stanford on their East Coast swing.
Well, the country was introduced to Tyler Knox back at the Midlands. He won that tournament, and now here in Raleigh on a Friday night, an impressive Friday night duels debut as he knocks out the 2-time ACC champion, Kai Orini, with the riding time and a major decision for Knox. 9-1 your final, and Stanford, after giving up the forfeit at 25, bounces back very strongly with their young talent. Off and running here from Raleigh, North Carolina. First ever meeting between these two, the talented youngster. Vince Robinson showing his heart of appreciation from one freshman to another. Knox on the West Coast delivers. Stanford on the board for the first time. Coy Bisgins, Jaden Abbas, again, veteran versus youth, coming up. One of the winningest wrestlers in North Carolina State history, the great Hayden Hidley, a 5-time All-American. He won 4 ACC championships, one of 10 wrestlers in ACC history to win 4 ACC titles. He was the 2020 ACC Wrestler of the Year, and a fan favorite, and he is back here in Raleigh. And just a few moments ago, this crowd expressing their gratitude. Hayden made the move west this offseason from Fargo, spent a year on the North Dakota State staff, made the decision to join Coach Chris Ayers out at Stanford, his first season, and what an addition he's been to Ayers' staff, an opportunity to really work with some really good young talent.
He's really smart too, not just a really good wrestler, very articulate, knows the sport, and Stanford has a gem in Hayden.
141 pounds, a little bit of a change here for North Carolina State. They will send out Troy Holman, the redshirt sophomore out of Harrison City, Pennsylvania. He takes on Jason Miranda, and some early fireworks here as Miranda gets up on that leg, finishes with the sweep, and he dumps him over for 3.
Good re-attack. You saw the shot in by Holman, quickly defended, and as soon as he defended it, went into a shot. And once he went to a shot, Miranda came in with a takedown.
Miranda, the 5th year, joined the program late this season after sitting out the early portions of that first semester, but he's a veteran with a lot of experience, having a good season, 13-5 this year, 3-3 in duels, and see Miranda trying to stick that leg in. Now he sucks Holman back, and he put himself in a pretty vulnerable position, and Holman able to slip away for the 1.
Miranda did a good job of bailing out because he looked really close to getting stuck there. When you have a guy that's generally a 33-pounder coming up, you got to take it to him early. You got to continue to attack and make him feel like he's not in there. When you have a weight disparaging a difference, you want to go and attack.
Yeah, you look at Troy Holman last year, he exclusively wrestled at 125 pounds. We saw him in one duel. He got inserted when the Wolfpack wrestled Duke, but this year mainly 33, but tonight an opportunity at 141. No Tyler Tracy. That has been their regular starter at this weight.
That's the second time that Holman went to that shot, kind of just, he throws himself one way and trying to catch the heel of Miranda's right leg, right foot. You heard Stanford style say punch it, meaning try and jam that underhook. Underhook is the right arm of Miranda from Stanford, trying to go right underneath the armpit of Holman.
One thing with Miranda, he tries to dig that underhook in from space. Oftentimes it's close quarters, not Miranda. He comes in with a full head of steam trying to barrel that right arm through.
The other thing that you need to consider is that when someone is coming up in a weight class, yes, they're giving up weight, but in many instances, they're not sucking weight, meaning that if you continue to push someone longer to what we call deep waters, late 3rd period, you might have more energy because you weren't sucking down a lot of weight. And when I say suck down weight, meaning you are losing a lot of weight to get you to weight class. But we'll see. It's only the 1st period.
Hands up, guys, hands up.
20 seconds, opening period, 3-1 Miranda, 6-4 North Carolina State on top through the first couple of weights. The Wolfpack picking up a forfeit win at 25, and then an impressive showing from Knox at 33 for the Cardinal with a major decision win over Orini. And that is the end of the first period as we go back to the Jason Miranda reshot.
Now here's an attack. The attack by Holman. Watch, defend and go right back in. That's exactly what you want to do. You don't want to defend and wait. You defend and attack and gets 3 points on the board. Good job by Miranda.
Okay, guys, no cautions. Just going warnings up for red set.
Defend and attack.
Miranda getting into position. Swallows up that waist. Sticks in that half. Jason Miranda, veteran on this roster. He's never made the NCAA tournament. He's had some near misses, and now in his final go-around, hoping that this will be the year. Holman gets away, and he inches a little bit closer. Now Holman comes in on that shot, but boy, look at the counter there by Miranda. Has that leg up. Opportunity to dump his second takedown of this match. Trying to seize that second leg, and he does. Holman trying to hit a roll through it. No points yet established. Good position, though, for Miranda. Man, look at the fight, though, by Holman.
Right in the situation. Holman's not in a bad position. Not in a bad position. Look at the scramble here. Wow, the fact he didn't give up a takedown is impressive. Nothing but confidence for Holman. I mean, Sean, you tell me you didn't think there was takedown. I would hold up 3 fingers thinking a takedown was there. Great job there. Roll, passing, roll, passing. And no takedown in this whole scenario. This is building up the confidence of Holman. It's only a 1-point match. And then you start to get the crowd behind you. You never know what can happen.
40 seconds here in this second period. Miranda with a 3-2 lead. You know, you go back to that last exchange, Rock. That took a lot of energy from Holman, and you talk about starting to swim into those deep waters. We'll see how that third period pays out for him.
I agree. That was a really good job of being aware and not conceding. As you get to the collegiate level, especially D1 collegiate level, getting into legs, I'm not going to say it's easy, but you can get to a leg. It's the finishing part, and we just saw a fantastic defense by Holman.
Short time, and we will go to the third period. A 3-2 lead, Miranda's choice. He looks over at the corner, and they are going to put him down underneath. So for the first time, we can see what Holman can do in this top position.
Riding time is not making a difference at this point. I liked immediately that Miranda stood up. He didn't waste time on the mat, just stand up. And good job by Holman to continue to follow. So he's going to try and lift that leg and bring it over his body. You see how he switched arms? He lifted it with his right arm, and then went outside to an inside. So now he's underneath the right leg of Holman. He's going to try and free up his left ankle. Holman is holding on to that left ankle, and at that point, good hip motion by Holman. Craftiness.
Right back up, quad pod underneath by Miranda. Holman continuing to ride, and will try to suck him back for some back points. He'll get 1 swipe, he'll get 2 swipes.
He's holding 2. He got 2 near fall. What I tell you, third period is getting deeper and deeper and deeper waters. 4-3. Miranda's got to get 1.
And if you are Stanford, this is one of those weights where you had it circled. This is a must-get if they're to knock off NC State.
They need this match. I mean, once they saw that a 33-pounder was coming up, they probably were licking their chops. But Troy Holman came to wrestle.
No caution given there, as Patrick Frank says that one is on me. He's going to get both wrestlers into position. You can bet it's going to be gangbusters off the whistle here for the 5th-year Miranda. And what a match from Troy Holman, stepping up in the spotlight here on senior night. Quick, explosive step up. Hand fight. Miranda turns, faces, reaches across that body. Boy, Holman just digs in even deeper. Now he has to improve his position. There's the stall call, and now the locked hands.
Yep. No. It was not locked hands. What happened was they called stall, and right in position where Holman was about to get back points, the referee stopped it and said, you can't get back points when we're holding the stall. So that wasn't necessarily locked hands. It looked like it, but he was holding his wrist to say, do not keep the riding time running.
So that offers up a fresh start. Promptly a mat return. Miranda springs right back up. One more mat return right in front of that Wolfpack bench. And out of bounds they go. Esposito and company wanting a stall call there on Miranda for leaving the mat.
Hey, but we got riding time. Riding time is 52 seconds into the way of Holman. Oh my goodness, this is monumental.
Miranda up, turns, faces, riding time up to 55 and climbing. Holman has him completely flattened out underneath. He crosses over that 1 minute of riding time. What a performance, a gutsy performance from Holman.
And it's in, stay right there, keep that foot in. He's got to keep that toe in. He's got to keep that toe in and still get the riding time. And now he said he crawled out. Stall call. Unbelievable. Troy Holman has wrestled a masterful match. Bumping up riding down a 141-pounder. This match is huge. Stanford needed this match.
Couple of tricks late. Miranda needs the reversal just to force any type of overtime. He's not going to get it. Troy Holman delivers.
Masterful performance by someone coming up. He decided, he made a conscious decision to keep down his opponent. Here it is. Move through, watch this claw to back points. This was the difference. 2 swipes, 1, 2. The referee holds out those 2 fingers. That's the match, not just the match, but holding him down that whole period. And he nodded his head and said, "Coach, I did it." What a good job by the staff to know to make that move.
Young man who hasn't had his number called that often, but boy, he made a difference tonight. North Carolina State now up 9-4 as we turn our attention to 149. Jaden Abbas, 17-7. Last night he took a heartbreaking 5-4 loss to a ranked wrestler from Princeton. He tries to get back on the winning track against Coy Biskins, a redshirt freshman out of the state of Minnesota, the first-year starter for the Wolfpack.
Completely different styles here. Really flowy type of loose style for Jaden Abbas. And Biskins is more traditional. He doesn't do a whole lot. He holds position extremely well. And Coach Papalizio of NC State says we need him to attack more, open up.
Jaden Abbas, tremendous talent. His final year of eligibility, the 4-time NCAA qualifier. And you look at his mark this year, Rock, 17-7, 3-6 in duels. Lost to Ty Whalen last night. Whalen ranked 12th in the country, 5-4. What have you noticed from Abbas so far? This is a guy that can beat anybody in the country when he's on.
Consistency. That's exactly what, not just good shot there. Now, heavy hips by Biskins. Biskin is trying to put those hips to the mat, and good job by Abbas to bring the leg up in the air. By bringing the leg up in the air, you take away from the hip pressure. Now he's going to try and walk up. You see what we call that table, that heel that's on the quad? You walk that up, and now at this point, Abbas needs to take his time. He might do a swing. Watch him do like a golf swing. He might just swing. There it is. He tried to do the golf swing, but right when he did the golf swing, Biskins did a good job of splitting. Heavy hips. Hooked it. I don't know if that's the right thing to do. But good job here by Biskins to continue to put the pressure on the shoulder. In a single position where Abbas is, it takes a lot of patience and a lot of thought process. Both guys are working hard here.
Abbas has been in on this leg for a good 40 to 45 seconds. Now he secures that second leg and gets the 3 on the edge.
While we say all the time 2 legs are better than 1, in college wrestling, most of the time you end up with a single. And when you end up with a single, Coach Chewy from Cal Poly said, finishing in a single is more science than power. And you can see that Abbas just took his time to figure it out. Look at this. He finally tripped, and then he ran to get 2 legs. Started with 1 leg, ended up with 2. You have to be patient when you have a single. You don't rush it. That took about 40 seconds.
It really did, yeah. Long exchange there, and you mentioned patience from Abbas. Talked about his pedigree, 4-time NCAA qualifier. Last year, he reached the round of 12 as the 26th seed. He beat K-Sac in the first round, one of the big wins for Stanford at that NCAA tournament. Approaching the 100-win mark in his career. 3-1 lead late in this first period.
This position is where the NC State staff wants to see more out of Biskins, you know? We talked about the fact that he has good defense. We talked about the heavy hips that he had. But now we got to see some shots. What can he do from this? Because if you let someone continue to attack the legs, it's going to get bad for you.
These unanswered points toward the end of the period. Abbas trying to free up that leg. Good job here by Bisgins to hang on. Short time, final few moments. Now Bisgins trying to improve his position, but he won't have enough time as the period comes to an end. 3-1 Abbas with the lead. As you take a look at the rankings in this weight class, it is loaded when you look at the ACC fleet of wrestlers, all headlined by the defending national champion Caleb Henson.
All-American Lachlan McNeil, All-American Jaden Abbas, Vince Solomon, also a national qualifier. Two tough young guys in Biskins and Geoffrey. 149 is stat.
Mentioned the All-American run by Abbas. That was back in 2021. He placed 7th at this weight, 149 pounds. At that time, he was just the second freshman in Stanford history to All-American. Just had a monster season on the farm. He was the Pac-12 Freshman of the Year. 3-1 lead. Bisgins trying to get away. Abbas back in on that leg, trips him right back down for the mat return.
And works up the body to a tight waist. Tight waist, exactly what it is. That right arm is all the way around the waist and just start to squeeze. Good job here by Abbas to keep the pressure forward on Bisgins. You see the difference in college wrestling with guys that have been in these gritty, tough matches that Abbas has been in his time at Stanford. And Bisgins just hasn't been there yet, just because of age, not because of abilities, just hasn't been in matches to know what it is to just be in a grinding match like this. He's just got to figure it out. Sometimes you just can't tell people what to do. You just figure it out, move.
That's one.
Good job here by Abbas with the ride out in the second period, approaching a couple of minutes worth of riding time. 40 seconds to go, dwindling off this second period clock, and he has kept Bisgins on the mat primarily in this period.
And he's moving from side to side. He's moving, he's lacing the ankle, and he's not just staying on one side. He'll float from one side to the other. Now, flatten out that right here. The referee's going to look at him and say, are you just riding or are you looking for a fall? So if he just continues to ride, when we say ride, not like doing anything just to keep him down, the official's going to look to call top man for stalling. But under 10 seconds, it'll be tough to make somebody call a stall here. Good job by Abbas. Really solid top work.
So a 3-1 lead. Moving into the third period, again, it will be Stanford's choice. Abbas an opportunity to work underneath. As you see, Chris Ayers, year number 2 at Stanford, 19th year overall, the Matt Gentry head wrestling coach. Last year, he produced a couple of All-Americans. Stanford placed 16th in the country in Kansas City. That was tied for their 3rd highest finish at the NCAAs. And when you look at his lineup, even guys that aren't in there tonight necessarily, this freshman class that he's trying to protect with a redshirt year, the future looks very bright for Stanford.
Indeed it does. They are looking forward to not just next year, but they think the real good year, the strong year, will be 2027, March 2027. If you're a Stanford fan, that's where you want to make sure you get to the NCAAs, wherever it is in 2027. Hopefully I'll be there.
Bisgins trying to cut into this riding time a little bit. Cuts out that arm. This is the match where, you know, you look at the body of work for Coy Bisgins this year, and he has lost so many one takedown matches. He has been right on the cusp of picking up one of those statement wins, 22nd in the country coming in. You just look up and down his results this year, and so many three-point setbacks. And now you look at it, down 3 late in this third period, really 4 when you factor in that riding time.
And that's where Bisgins has to come forward. The stuff that Coach Popley wants to see out of him, we got to see it now. And then you have a crafty veteran that knows just be active. Good low single. He's got to come through the middle and pick a side. But watch the right foot of Abbas. He's trying to kick that. You see him moving that right foot to try and kick that elbow out. Looks like a stalemate situation.
Neutral.
13 seconds left. Riding time is secured, so the score is officially 5-1.
Set.
And Abbas is just doing a good job. Just no need to do anything foolish. You can take a stall, doesn't matter. Short time. Good job by Jaden Abbas.
This was an important night for Abbas to try to get some rhythm back, find his groove a little bit after taking it on the chin last week to Caleb Henson, losing a nail-biter last night. He takes care of business, a dominant second-period ride. And Abbas picks up his 18th win of the season with the riding time, a 5-1 victory, and that closes the North Carolina State lead to a couple. Boy, great excitement. So far, the story has been 141. The youngster Holman inserted into that lineup late. The four-time qualifier Abbas delivers the counterpunch for the Cardinal. The senior Ed Scott and his patented headlocks next. The ACC's Committee for Racial and Social Justice, in conjunction with its member institutions, have identified February 13th through the 23rd as ACC Unity Week. As part of this initiative, members of the Stanford Cardinal and NC State Wolfpack join one another on the mat to demonstrate their commitment to seeing each other as equals and treating each other with respect and dignity. Earlier tonight, Ed Scott with his family, quite a journey all the way from the state of Pennsylvania, and his parents, they traveled to nearly every match to watch him. He told us his parents are his biggest fans. His father wrestled at Gannon College, introduced him to the sport at the age of 5, and now on senior night, he gets ready to take on Aiden Valencia. I don't think anyone, Rock, saw Valencia wrestling 157 tonight. Keep in mind, he was at 141 less than 24 hours ago against Princeton.
Last night. And already Ed Scott's going to the underhook. What he'll do, left side underhook, he'll lock his hands behind the head, and he will often go to a headlock, or he'll also go to a fireman's carry. So, yeah, nobody expected this. I mean, when Coach Greg told me before the match what's going to happen, he said, Rock, don't pass out. And I said, I wasn't ready for this one. But here's the thing. Aiden Valencia is a blue chipper. I mean, blue chipper. He has that mindset that he really thinks he can win every match. Coach Hayden Hadley, when I was out at Stanford, said that he wrestled with him, and they went to a match, and Hayden Hadley's a stud. And he beat Valencia, and Valencia actually believed that he should have won, which is crazy. So this kid has a lot of confidence, and he's really strong. Daniel Cardenas, who is the actual 157-pounder, said that Valencia is one of the strongest guys on the team.
Trying to showcase some of that strength, but he cannot get out of that. And Ed Scott fires the opening salvo here, the 3. And now Scott goes to work on top. Yeah, Valencia, one of the talented recruits in this freshman class that's absolutely loaded for Stanford. Some really big names in that group. E.J. Parco, we saw him at 149. They're protecting his red shirt. He had a huge win against Vasquez of Arizona State recently, really won that duel for Stanford. So they have some really good freshmen, and Valencia certainly near the top of that pack in that class.
And he's going against one of the guys that's been around the block. Ed Scott, he's been in so many battles. All the battles he had over years with Andonian, many matches that he's had, All-American. He knows how to win. And it's a tough task for Aiden Valencia against a guy that's been experienced like Ed Scott, and who's actually pretty good on top as well, as we're seeing right now.
Inside a minute to go in this opening period. Scott continues to ride with that size and 3-0 lead.
And he's keeping the pressure forward on the shoulders and on the hands of Valencia. So obviously Valencia's undersized, but Ed Scott is doing a good job of being on his toes and keeping the pressure forward. By keeping the pressure forward on the hands, it's harder to stand up.
Zach Esposito, what an addition this offseason for Pat Papalizio and the Wolfpack coaching staff. His first year here, and saw Esposito on that sideline. Spent the past 20 years on the bench with John Smith and Stillwater. Scott close to getting some back points. Valencia showing his strength, able to get back to his base, completely flattened out here. Let's see if he can muscle up some energy to try to get out late as we hit short time in this first period.
Keeping the pressure on the scapula, on the shoulder blades. Moving forward. And look at Ed Scott, looking at the clock, just being aware, match awareness, knowing what's going on. Don't give up any foolish points. Let's see this takedown here. In the first period, Ed Scott was in and kind of just followed behind, and by putting the pressure forward on the hands, that's when the official gave the takedown. And then at that point, he just put on a monster ride, kept the pressure forward, and built up a significant amount of riding time.
This is a wait for Stanford. Normally, they have turned to their true freshman in Grigor Cholakian. Cholakian not out there tonight, so now Valencia unable to contain Scott, and a 4-0 lead for the senior. Scott, the two-time ACC champ, won the title last year over Sonny Santiago, won his first title back in 2022. He really had a key win last week in Chapel Hill when North Carolina was looking to knock off the Wolfpack. Scott stepped on the mat after North Carolina had rattled off 3 straight wins. He was able to get NC State in the win column, and Wolfpack were able to hang on and win that tightly contested duel.
That's just body weight. That's just strength. That's a takedown and near fall. And this is Ed Scott getting it going. This is tight. He's going to try and step over. Really getting it back. This could be it. Senior night for Ed Scott. Just opened this matchup. That was all weight. All weight. You saw it. Just pushed him in and just kind of bullied him.
Full allotment of near fall points, and now not just burying Valencia with this ride, but burying him up on that scoreboard, 11-0.
And we must state again, Stanford asked a real tough task for Aiden Valencia. Just last night, he was wrestling in 141 and now up 2 weight classes. This is his 5th match allowed as a true freshman.
Hey, you mentioned that win last night. Beat Elijah Rivera, who just snuck into the top 30 last week. Won a tight one 5-4. And again, that was down a couple of weights at 141 pounds. But no Cholakian, the talented Armenian wrestler. And all of a sudden, Stanford getting Valencia his 5th match as far as the redshirt rule, and running into a tough customer with Ed Scott.
Ed is doing what he's supposed to do as a returning All-American, controlling the match. And then watch the shot, just bullying. Watch him just kind of run over, step by, hips over, locks over. And at that point, control is established, and a near fall. Full allotment. Ed Scott all over Aiden Valencia.
In a pretty nice pipeline from the state of Pennsylvania to Raleigh throughout the year. Scott, one of those guys. He grew up in a very rural setting in central Pennsylvania. He was aware of North Carolina State thanks to a couple of pretty good Philly natives, and the Hidley brothers saw their success. Scott followed, and yeah, like we have documented, what a wonderful career it has been. Valencia showing some of his skill set here as he's in on that leg. Scott with that whizzer trying to apply the defensive mechanism. Each wrestler grabbing the opposite's lower half as this scramble continues. 1:10 remaining in this 3rd period. Oh, you love the fight from Valencia, and he gets the 3.
He does, and this is a learning experience. Learning experience, and look at Valencia. He is still coming forward. He's still coming forward, still going hard. Learning experience.
Look at the ACC at 157. Hippolito getting healthy. Ranked 10th for Virginia Tech. Hopefully we'll see Hippolito and Scott next Friday night, that huge duel Virginia Tech, NC State from Blacksburg.
Don't get me started. That match next week, fans, I know we're watching this match, but next week is going to be a dandy. Inside trip. Not enough. Hips run underneath Miller.
Valencia takes a look over at the clock. Final few moments, one more shot, driving Scott backwards, and Ed Scott on senior night comes away with the victory. A bonus point win for the Wolfpack. He has been as steady and reliable as they come throughout his time here in Raleigh, and a sea of red come to their feet to express their gratitude and appreciation. The All-American from a couple of years ago just missed out on the podium last year. And what did Pat Papalizio tell us when the calendar flips to mid-February? It's Ed Scott time. Senior night, Scott delivers for the Wolfpack. You have not heard the last of Aiden Valencia. A hunger for success. He will be back. Part of the youth for Stanford. 165 pounds when we come back. Derek Fields, Hunter Garvin, the All-American for Stanford. Welcome to the ACC. He did it! He got the takedown! And champions from the past, anxious to leave one final mark on their legacy. The ACC Wrestling Championships March 9th. Cannot wait as we head to nearby Durham. Sean Kinney alongside Rock Harrison. And Rock, you take a look at this regular season, and that's going to be a fun day once again in Durham. A wide open conference, everybody chasing NC State as they look for their 7th consecutive championship.
There is separation with the top echelon. That's NC State as well as Virginia Tech. They're the top two teams. It's going to be a fantastic match next week. But that middle bunch, you have Stanford, UNC, Pitt. They're right there. The ACC is getting really, really strong.
Well, you look at what we have seen so far tonight. Stanford a little short-handed as we go through the first 5 weights. They've been giving up a forfeit all year at 125, but the match of the night, I thought, at 133.
Tyler Knox is really, really good. He's very patient. He has good mat awareness and good IQ. He beat a very game Kai Orini. But the other match was 141. Jace Miranda, a true 141-pounder. Troy Holman came up to 133, had a great ride in the third period, back points, and set Reynolds on fire.
A 13-7 lead at the intermission for North Carolina State. 165 pounds. Hunter Garvin, he had that incredible run last year at Nationals, 14-6. He takes on Derek Fields, 12-8 record. Fields, a top 30 wrestler for NC State. Fields, the redshirt junior out of Brunswick, Ohio. 4th year in Raleigh, 2nd year in that starting lineup for Pat Papalizio. He has faced really a difficult schedule. In fact, Papalizio told us one of the more difficult schedules of any of his wrestlers this year. He had a stretch of 4 losses to top 8 guys. He gets another tough customer in Hunter Garvin tonight, ranked 13th, redshirt sophomore out of Iowa City, Iowa. Garvin loves those upper body tie-ups, and you saw him immediately try to get that 2-on-1 established.
The game plan against Hunter is to withstand his first period. He comes at you, he's going to throw a lot at you, but then if you get beyond that, he starts to slow down. That's the book. He can change the narrative really, really quickly. But as I've seen enough of him, you got to just withstand that first period.
Out of the fingers. Hey, guys, out of the fingers.
Talked about that run that Garvin had last year in Kansas City. Abbas was a freshman All-American back in 21. Well, Garvin became the 3rd Stanford freshman to All-American last year as he placed 6th at 165 pounds, and he entered that tournament as the 20 seed.
As we're seeing right now, Hunter Garvin does a little things that just a little, I'm not gonna say non-traditional, but just things you don't see as often, while Derek Fields is more traditional.
Out of the fingers, guys. Out of the fingers. Stop. Come on, guys. Out of it.
Stanford was able to pry Garvin out of the clutches of the state of Iowa. He was a talented wrestler in high school at Iowa City West, right there in University of Iowa country, and close ties in the state of Iowa. Really wasn't expecting to hit Stanford, but he took a trip out there and he said everything just fell into place real quickly. He loved it, loved the atmosphere, knew some of the guys that he was competing with, and he made that decision. And you know, he talked about how his family really did not get the opportunity to see him wrestle a lot in person until he made it to Kansas City, and boy, did he put on a show. Well, guess what? This year they had trips to not just Iowa City and the Hawkeyes, but they went to Ames as well and wrestled Iowa State, so he was feeling right at home back in the Hawkeye State.
I tell you what, I mean, if you're from Iowa, Sean, and you know, an Iowa winter versus a Stanford winter, I think I might consider wrestling out on the farm too.
Not a bad choice.
Watch the throw. There's throw by. Now he's got to bring it to the mat. He's got to stay, keep his feet in. Good defense there. An action call.
Yeah, not too many wrestlers slip out of that exchange from Garvin, but that's what Derek Fields was able to do. No damage inflicted.
.30 seconds left. Garvin has been more the aggressor in his first period. The thing he's got to set up a string of attacks.
He's right back onto that arm. Short time in this first period. One last shot, the reshot there by Fields, and see the quickness there by Garvin. Doesn't have a lot of time to finish, and he cannot as time expires. A late burst from Hunter Garvin, a little bit of blood as well, and scoreless after this first period. Garvin headlining the pack in the ACC, his first trek through the Atlantic Coast Conference, 13th in the country. Nick Hamilton is the reigning champ at this weight in the ACC from Virginia. You see Fields in at 28. I thought it was interesting, Rock. What did Chris Ayers tell us when we chatted with him earlier this week? That Hunter Garvin had FOMO, a little fear of missing out, and he actually had to have him back off wrestling a little bit. He just wrestled so much last year when you look at the Greco World Trials, the Pan Ams, even involved in some beach wrestling.
I didn't know the beach part, but goodness. The people that often do well in this sport are people that's enjoying it. And when you wrestle this much, it's because you enjoy it. You just enjoy the competition. And good coaches know that. Stall call because the fingers were locked. And good coaches know that, look, I know you love wrestling, but you got to give your body some time to recover.
I had to go quickly into the Rock Harrison acronym definition vocabulary book for FOMO. I had to find out what that all meant. You quickly provided me with the details.
Well, thank you.
Minute 10 to go in this second period. Oh, good. Quick low shot there by Fields. Really the first time he has stepped on the gas offensively.
And that is Greco right there. He's doing a chest wrap, putting his hands right in there. But good job by Fields to slide up through the middle. So now Fields has to pick a side, and he's picked a leg. He's going to hook it. At this point, he's going to use his left hand to push that knee away. Watch that left hand right there. He's going to push that knee up and get his head out. And at this point, Garvin is doing a good job. Looks like a takedown there. Still got a chest lock. There's a takedown, yep. We talk about efficiency. It was Garvin throughout the whole first period, shooting and getting his close. Fields takes one shot. He takes one shot, and he picks a leg and uses his left hand to push that away. Watch that left hand. He's going to try and push it up, and then he's going to lock around the body, and that's when the takedown occurs. 3-0, or 4-0 now.
Hayden Hidley in that Stanford corner, talking with Hunter Garvin. This is our first men's lacrosse game of the season. It's happening right here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. Number 7 Virginia hosts Richmond. Coverage begins tomorrow morning, 11:30 Eastern, right here on the ACC Network. That time of the year, a lot of the sports crossing over one another. And speaking of Hidleys, there is Mr. Trent Hidley in the house.
He still looks like a fearsome guy.
Saw him competing recently over in Albania, competing for Team USA as he pursues his Olympic dream. Four-time ACC champion. All right, period number 2 resumes. 20 seconds to go.
And Fields knew exactly to get out of that. He felt, as you said before, the upper body to Greco. He said, no, I want no parts of this.
Garvin, one of those guys, he can put you feet to back in a hurry. But a very strongly executed game plan for Derek Fields so far through the first 5 minutes.
Watch him reach over to the underhook, and when Fields felt it, he said, let me get out of this. No. Because he knew that that's what's the background of Hunter Garvin. This is crazy. I mean, Hunter Garvin has really been the aggressor. I would expect at least one stall call by now.
Boy, up into the air, high velocity return. Fields looking to defend his home turf, trying to pull off the upset here. Oh, that was crafty by Garvin as he spun around for the reversal.
Switch, got some space, got around, and now he's got to make some decisions. Are we going to try to ride or let him go?
Riding time not a factor in this match. He's just going to let him go. So a 5-3 lead. Again, this era of the three-point takedown. Garvin, who has had some near misses offensively, a takedown away from regaining that lead. Taking territory right now. Fields is going to try to, or at least try to recircle and get back into the center.
And Fields is using the out of bounds. Now he finally gets back to the center, but using the out of bounds just to be careful. So Hunter Garvin has got to continue to keep the pressure forward.
Change of level there from Garvin, cut off effectively by Fields. Now Fields comes in with a shot of his own, and slipping away as Garvin reshot.
Garvin, he's keeping pressure moving forward. I think he's doing enough to earn at least one stall call. There it is. There it is. A little intimation right here. Is that going to be enough? He's got to flatten his hips out. Garvin's got to flatten his hips out. He's got to lower his hips. Lower his hips. Looks like a situation. There's 3 takedown. Is that enough? We got short time left. Short time, 6'5". 6'5". He's going under. Head. He's going to stay tight. Put the legs in. Illegal hold there. Illegal hold. He's got to stay in. Illegal hold. Illegal hold. What happened was he had the leg in, and looks like he went for a back trip. Now we got to see that. My thought is that he had the leg in, and the other leg touched another leg before anybody hit the mat. I didn't see it, but that's what I believe.
Challenge brick has come in from the Stanford corner, and Chris Ayers as he gets the explanation from Patrick Frank and Jim Ravello as they discuss it.
So the leg is in. No, we didn't see it at that point.
So Patrick Frank coming over as we take another look at it, and we're going to get an idea as what they're going to take a look at to see explicitly what this challenge is going to be all about.
So the challenge is that one leg was in, and then the other leg that was not in touched the other leg, and that would be an illegal hold. So in wrestling, when someone is standing, one leg can be hooked in. That other leg has to stay on the mat, or it cannot touch any of his opponent's other leg. If that leg that's in and then the other leg touches any other leg, that's an illegal hold. That's what they're looking for right now. So if we can go to the replay, it's the left leg that looks to be in for Garvin. Did the right leg touch any of Derek Fields? So we just missed it when he did it. So if we go back just a little further, it's that right leg that's in. So they're standing up, looking for that right leg in. No, you know what? I think he got confused. He got confused with the other leg.
Yes.
He got confused with that other leg. So look at that left leg's in. That's that right leg. That is the leg of Derek Fields. That's not illegal. His right foot is still on the mat. They got to waive that. They've got to waive that. You saw it.
The right foot of Garvin was planted.
Stayed on the mat.
It was.
It stayed on the mat. So the referee got confused with what leg came up. So he said another leg came up. Let me stop it. Unless I said that, they got to waive that. So the leg is in. That right leg stays on the mat. Stays on it. That is not an illegal call. I mean, illegal hold.
Keep in mind, with these reviews, our officials are looking at the same camera angles that you are at home. Now they can have their own independent fast forward, rewind as they take multiple looks, but those are the angles that they are taking a look at on this all-important call. Now keep in mind, the mat call was an illegal hold and one, which means we're heading to overtime, but as Rock alluded, he believes this call will be overturned and that illegal hold taken away, which would give Stanford the 1-point win with Hunter Garvin.
And the good thing about Garvin, he kept wrestling, because not only do they look at that, they're going to look at the whole situation. So that left leg is in, and then that right foot stayed on the mat. The referee thinks, I think they got a call now.
So it's as we thought, the explanation, and you're going to hear a pretty sour note here from this Reynolds Coliseum crowd, but the right call made.
The right call was made, because that foot did not come off the mat. That's great, great confidence and good job by the officials. Look, that left leg, watch the left leg of Garvin in, that right foot. You see when he get confused? He thought that foot was Garvin's. It was not. It was Derek Fields. Illegal hold, no sir, but good job by Garvin to keep wrestling.
Garvin wins for Stanford as they keep their opportunities still alive here on the road tonight. Cutting into that deficit as we now key in on 174 pounds. Matty Singleton, 12-7. Lars Michelson, young man, not a lot of experience, 0-2. So Singleton ranked 21st. Back into that lineup this year after utilizing his red shirt a season ago. The red shirt sophomore out of Moreland, Georgia. We talked to Matty this week, and he says he wants to get back into that win column. A couple of tight losses in a row heading into this one. Lost to Josh Ogasanya of North Carolina 5-4. Then that tiebreaker, the nail biter to Luca Augustin of Pitt. Singleton, who redshirted last year, had surgery on his hand a season ago, was injured in a couple of different junctures of the year. Still wears that protective casing around his right hand.
I believe that this weight class in the ACC 174 is the deepest weight class. And when you think of deepest, oftentimes you think it's the toughest.
Well, you mentioned tough and deep. Lorenzo Norman, the youngest in this weight class in the ACC. Stanford's normal 174-pounder, again out of action tonight. So that's why we see Michelson inserted in there, but when Norman is healthy and on, he's as good as they come as far as that freshman class. And this is a wrestler that I know you have watched a lot of in talking about Lorenzo Norman, who can go a long way come Philadelphia.
His motion, his misdirection, his length, they all cause problems. Matty Singleton has what we call a snatch single, where he doesn't necessarily do a penetration step, meaning that one knee hits the mat. He kind of just lowers and kind of just reaches and snaps his opponent's right leg. It kind of also does it from a post position. Someone may be touching, so he may post step that elbow and snatch.
What did he tell us? He kind of hit that for the first time his senior year in the Super 32 finals. Comes in strong here, and that three-point takedown for Singleton.
And he did it to the other side. He kind of posted, went right leg immediately to a double. So as soon as he went to one leg, he felt the shift. And then when he went to the shift, he locked up on Michelson.
Action goes out of bounds. So Singleton with the takedown. 65 seconds to go in this first period.
Watch him post, and he stepped. He posted with the right hand, he stepped, and then as soon as he felt the sprawl of Michelson, he shifted his body to get a double. One of the things that's unique about Stanford is that you see different coaches in the corner. And they have two coaches, because Coach Ayer says when you have so many people yelling and screaming, they don't hear it. So you'll see them shift from one coach to another coach strategically, but in the same light, it's more so to make sure that the wrestler can hear the voice.
Right now, Chris Ayers joined by Patrick Brucky, who he described kind of as the intense coach of the group, the one that strikes a little fear into the competitors. You got to have one of those guys. Right now, Lars Michelson unable to get out from underneath. Singleton, the one takedown, and they'll finish with a minute 25, minute 26 of riding time. Don't forget, tomorrow morning, our Shriners Children's Clearwater Softball Invitational coverage continues with UCF taking on Clemson. Sunday morning, 6th-ranked UCLA squaring off against Virginia. That's all happening. 80-degree weather, softball season here. Beautiful Clearwater. Not quite 80 degrees in Raleigh, but we'll take it around 65 degrees as we walked around some parts of the city earlier this afternoon. Nice enough to throw a big tailgate outside. The tent and the grills were all out.
I mean, as soon as we got there, they were like, Sean Kenny's here, Sean Kenny's here, Sean Kenny's here, and gave us a lot of food, so.
Felt like I was in that hot dog eating contest. Didn't want to spill on my tie. Minute 35, second period, 4-0 lead for Matty Singleton. Four-time Georgia State champion, and you could just sense the pride when we brought up the state of Georgia and its rise.
Yes.
As far as the talent level and what's being done in that state. He talked about wrestling for compound, and another beautiful technique there by Singleton for 3 more.
Underhook, throw by, and what I'm seeing with Matty right now is he's finishing quickly and efficiently. He's not wasting time. The first takedown he had, post, one leg to the other leg, finish quickly. That one, underhook, finish quickly. When you finish quickly, you don't worry about the scramble situation.
Still red, still red.
He told us he felt he just hasn't been quite as aggressive as he wants to be. Wanted to open up a little bit more over these next couple of weeks as these wrestlers try to hit their stride for the month of March in the championship season.
And that's exactly what you want to do. You want to, as many coaches say, you want to peak. Good shot there by Michelson.
Yeah, a little change of direction there by Michelson as he faked right, came back on that left leg. Smothered, though, right now by Singleton underneath. Michelson trying to drive into a little bit of a better position off that high C.
Good heavy hips there by Singleton. Couple seconds left.
Just one more start. 7-1 lead for the redshirt sophomore, wrestled for the Woodward Academy.
we talked about finishing quickly. Watch the underhook by Maddie Singleton. Underhook, he's going to throw it by. Watch it, throw it over your shoulder and quickly finishing. That's exactly how you do it. You don't want to waste. You want to just follow, keep the pressure forward.
Quick stand up here by Michelson, and he is away. So a 7-2 lead as we start this third period.
Little things to build off of. Michelson, when he stood up, he cut through to the mat. A lot of guys, they just kind of stand and spin, but when you cut through to the mat, it's hard for some. Oh, nice job again. Whoa.
Up into the air, and that had some thunder to it, man. Michelson took all of the weight from Maddie Singleton. A driving finish for 3 more and a 10-2 commanding lead.
He's doing what he does best. Another, this time he shot to the other leg. Not a shot, but kind of a step and snatch. And he finished high. You can see that he did that in first period. And look at this with the mat return. I mean, this is high level stuff here. He comes in there. Does he leave his feet? A little bit. I mean, there's a little bounce there. But it is college wrestling. You gotta be tough. But he did leave his feet though.
Michelson, a youngster, Bremerton, Washington, making his debut, won 3 state Washington championships. He and his brother Thor, who's also on the Stanford wrestling team. Thor, a redshirt freshman. They both wrestled with their father, Ty, and they've been wrestling since they were 5 or 6 years old, waking up in the early morning hours before the sun even rose to make the journey all across the state of Washington to find as many tournaments to compete in. And now here they are, both Michelson brothers, part of this Stanford roster for Coach Chris Ayers. And in a buzzsaw on this Friday night. North Carolina State closing in on another bonus point victory. Singleton just stuffs that elbow in the back of the neck of Michelson.
One thing that Maddie's doing is that he's got that right leg in, but he's using his right leg. Excuse me, he's got his left leg in, but he's using his right foot. You see he's pushing off the mat, keeping the pressure forward by pushing it and pushing and pushing. Solid performance by Maddie Singleton, showing good offense, what he wanted to show.
Maddie Singleton runs his record to 13-7. A major decision victory, 11-2. Stanford able to get a win from their All-American Garvin, but then with some thunder, some authority, Maddie Singleton and the Wolfpack get the win right back. One of our matchups to keep an eye on, Nick Stimmick, Christian Knopp, 197 from Raleigh. Tomorrow night at 8 Eastern, after our men's basketball tripleheader, the Nothing But Net crew will break down the day and night in the ACC with highlights and analysis of each and every game, and then look ahead at the best matchups on the schedule for next week. It's all right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. 184 pounds, Dylan Fishback, redshirt sophomore, 9-5 this year, 3-1 in ACC action. He goes up against Cole Lindenmeyer, another true freshman. Back-to-back true freshmen rolled out there for Chris Ayers and Stanford.
Just goes to show you that they are young and they are ready. Now, that doesn't mean they're not going to win, but they're ready to compete.
This is the third true freshman that we've seen put out there tonight for the Cardinal.
Watch a low single by Fishback. He'll drop down, and there's a low single. Didn't get it, but he comes with a hard left step and drops down to a low single on his opponent's right leg.
Above the eyes.
How good did Dylan Fishback look last time out in his win against Gavin Kane?
Oh, my goodness. Look really, really good.
Won by major decision over a really good wrestler in Kane.
it's interesting because it just feels like Dylan Fishback isn't talked about enough on this Wolfpack team. He was obviously a highly regarded recruit, but it seems like you just know he's there, but so many other names, and you just don't hear enough about Dylan Fishback can wrestle.
ACC runner-up from a year ago, won 3 matches at the NCAAs, and he gets off and running here with the 3.
Keeping pressure forward. Head lever. Hand on the wrist. Moving forward. One of the things that we've noticed throughout the year, Sean, is that NC State makes a lot of effort to be good on top, to really look to wear their opponents down, but also look for back points. We saw that 133, how they're working their top position. But that's something that Coach Papalizio and the staff really works hard on. So let's take a look at this takedown here. Shot, defended, goes to the heel, and finishes behind. And at that point just starts the ride that we were talking about that NC State has done well over the years. As you can see here, Fishback has a tight waist. That right arm was around the waist and continued to squeeze around the stomach. And it's aptly named tight waist. Wrestling isn't very complicated. We kind of name the moves what it does.
Fishback continues to ride. 35 seconds to go in this opening period. Fishback, one of those guys that you talked about, Rocky, really has a fun style to watch when he's aggressive. He's moving those feet, attacking. Stall call underneath on Lindenmeyer.
Yeah, Lindenmeyer is in a tough situation. When someone has a tight waist, you want to turn your hips away from it and not into the tight waist. It seems natural to turn into it, but it gets tighter. You want to get that hand from around the waist and move that hand to around where your belly button is.
Yeah, you mentioned the top game from North Carolina State. They brought in Zach Esposito his first season. He arrived in April, the associate head coach at Oklahoma State for 7 years. He spent 21 years with the Cowboys between his time as a student athlete and part of that coaching staff. And he was very familiar with Pat Papalizio. Both wrestled for John Smith. Papalizio told us just a wealth of knowledge, and he has no history with any of the guys in this room, which he thought was almost like a breath of fresh air for them.
Yes. New way of doing things, new perspective. Sometimes you get stale with the same system guys that came through, and yes, there's continuity, but sometimes it's good to get a fresh perspective.
Work out of here, guys.
On Lindenmeyer, down 4 in the second period. Fishback has been in control, 1:49 of riding time. Has the 1 takedown so far. And straight on. Man, that was quick and that was explosive. Just cut through that hand defense, barreled his way to the takedown.
Lowered his level and went right through. And so the coaching staff eventually said, let him go, just let him go. And I guess Fishback said, Coach, I think I know better.
A pretty good grip on Lindenmeyer here, trying to work a turn. He has plenty of time. And now he rolls him over, has that arm trap, has the tilt, and he has the swipes. But Dylan Fishback knew what he was doing there.
That's the only time when you don't listen to your coach, when you know more than the coach.
And you better score if you don't listen to your coach.
And he does it again. So it looks like maybe close to a fall. A tilt with a fall.
He is going to end this one early. Dylan Fishback technical fall as he ends it. 14 seconds to go in this second period. 2 straight matches, 2 straight double-digit points, and the offense flying from all angles with Dylan Fishback.
This is to take that, watch a lower level, run, and then just clear through. And then at this point, coach said, let him go. He said, why, coach, when I can turn him? It's a lot easier to turn here, and that's the first set. And then he gets another set. And he said, coach, I think I might be the head coach soon enough. But good enough for Fishback. Tech fall, NC State in complete control.
North Carolina State now up 22-10 as we go to 197. Nick Stemmet, 6th year for the Cardinal, taking on Christian Knopp. Knopp, one of those 7 seniors recognized earlier tonight. 8-6 on the year, and here comes Knopp out of that tunnel.
All right, Stemmet, who had a great match last night against Luke Stout, really has improved towards the end of this year. Looking like he wants to get on that podium come March.
Chris Ayers told us Nick Stemmet is a different man after that win against Andy Smith last week. Beat Smith, a top 10 wrestler, 4-2. Enters tonight having won 7 straight matches. Had a win by major decision last night. He looked like $1 million over Luke Stout. It's a tough customer, 11-2. So let's see if he can keep it rolling here for the Cardinal against Christian Knopp, who obviously is wrestling with a lot of emotion. The final time he will wrestle here inside Reynolds. This was a weight class last year for the Wolfpack with the great Trent Hidley, but now that he has graduated, really open competition at 97, and the Wolfpack have used 3 wrestlers this year to try to fill that massive void. Good back and forth early here in the opening 60 seconds.
Exactly.
A trio of wrestlers for NC State as Stemmet trying to come in low. You see the hips, though, by Knopp.
That's the second shot to Knopp's left leg.
Let it fly, Justin, let it fly. Here you go.
He takes another good shot like that, he'll warrant a stall. And Knopp has got to, attack a little bit, at least fake, do a half shot. When we say half shot, it's not, there we go. A shot just to keep his opponent honest.
Two wrestlers crowned head-to-head here. 1:08 to go. Max Stout, mentioned Luke Stout for Princeton. That's who Stemmet beat last night. Max Stout, a Pitt, having himself a year. He's ranked 10th. Andy Smith, who Stemmet beat last Friday night out west, ranked 22nd.
This trip for Stanford, it's 3 dual meets in 4 days, and people say, I don't know if that's a good idea, but it really preps you for the NCAAs. The NCAAs, 3 days, assume that you continue to win. You got to keep your weight down, wrestle tough people. So from a strategic standpoint, you may say, why they do this? Well, March is around the corner, NCAAs, and so it's just helping them how it is to keep your weight down and continue to compete.
Yeah, Chris Ayers really downplayed the travel, said, yeah, no big deal. We did it last year. They flew in Wednesday and prepared for their duel last night with Princeton, and then hop right back on the plane, made that short flight down here to Raleigh, and then they'll head over to the opposite side of the triangle for Duke. Don't forget the number 12 Tar Heels highlight our Thursday night ACC Network women's basketball doubleheader. Alyssa Utsby leads the balanced Carolina attack against Georgia Woolley and Syracuse at 6 Eastern, and then Virginia Tech ready to roll with Stanford. Another great night of hoops action. It's coming up right here on the ACC Network.
Interesting that Knopp decided to go neutral. He did not want to go underneath Stemmet. They must really respect the top work of Stemmet. And if you choose neutral, that means you need to create the action.
Clean hands, guys. Both guys, come on, hands up.
Just those quick taps right now by Stemmet. Both wrestlers with those head taps. So what does Stemmet do? He changes level, tried to fire in. Now both wrestlers upper body tie up here. Knopp has that grip that he wants. Over under position. Can he work anything with it though, Rock, is the question right now.
When your hips get further away, nothing can be done. When he had his hips really tight and locked, that's when you got to attack.
Stemmet was trying to drive in his double unders, and Knopp said, no, thank you, we're not going to go there, so he backs off. Tight to the vest in this one. Inside a minute to go, second period, still no score.
Really is.
Keep in mind, it will be Stemmet's choice as well, third period.
I just think that Stemmet is doing it enough. You know, he's attacking enough to get a stall call. There's another shot by Stemmet.
Can he finish this one? Has time, has real estate, smack dab in the center of the mat. Has that leg up. Gets that leg across, now shelves it, tried to work his way up. Nice trip on that, and he gets the three. Boy, that was textbook as he closes out the period on top with that takedown.
He got into yet another single. This time he was able to get in on a single and finish it high. Watch the trip. And then he covers. As soon as the hands hit that mat, that's the takedown right there. Ending the period on top, as you said, Sean, is always important. Ending the period, rather.
There's unanswered points. So Stemmet gets three. He chooses underneath, quickly into a stand-up. Knopp trying to drive him back, does. Not deterred, Stemmet hops right back up and gets away quickly. So riding time not a factor. Third period. North Carolina State entering tonight 4-0 in ACC action. They have next Friday night in Blacksburg with Virginia Tech.
Floating on anticipation, Sean. Blacksburg is going to be the spot. The nation will be watching. And I'm telling you, it's going to be a dandy. 7 o'clock, Friday, the 21st, ACC Network.
How good has Virginia Tech been since they have really got all their parts back into place? They were banged up pretty severely in the month of January, but Tony Roby and his staff starting to heal up, and that is going to be a colossal showdown next Friday night. Can't wait for it.
Let's not sleep on UNC. UNC, they have one loss. They're wrestling against Virginia right now. Not sure what the score is. And then they have Duke, 23-7. UNC is on top, and then they have Duke. And you know what? We could have a three-way tie.
We had that a few years ago during the regular season in this conference.
What a job Coach Cole is doing. UNC second year in, and can you imagine? Stall against Stemmet, kind of just did not fight to stay inside, but what a great year that Coach Cole is doing. Second year, and you know, is in a position to be co-champs.
Time running out on Christian Knopp. Nick Stemmet, 4-0 lead. He has been the aggressor in this match. Knopp trying to get to his upper body ties, but Stemmet just not falling for the trap. Short time, final few moments, and Stanford is going to pick up this win. Nick Stemmet has now won 8 straight matches. The 3-time NCAA qualifier, hoping this will be the year he becomes an All-American, and he is looking the part.
He
win
is.
For the 5th year.
He is indeed, and he is streaking at the right time. He is really putting on and doing a good job when he needs to perform. I tell you, Stanford came on over here, but they've run into a juggernaut called the Wolfpack. 6-time defending tournament champions, but Nick Stemmen says it's not over. And then we got this monster, Isaac Trumbull, ranked number 4 in the country, to close out tonight's match.
Plenty of action across the ACC on this Valentine's night. How about we go to Blacksburg? Luca Augustine, Lennox Wallach, and look at Wallach able to catch Augustine on his back, the fall for the Columbia transfer.
He hit a flying cement job against a guy from PA. How about that? Virginia Tech's looking good. Really, really good.
22-9 lead for the Hokies as they hit the final 2 weight classes next Friday night. Plan your night around this one. 7 o'clock Eastern, the regular season title on the line. North Carolina State, Virginia Tech, practically everybody ranked in that one. NC State has won 6 of the last 8. However, Virginia Tech has been stubborn at home, and going to be a good time next Friday night. Here we key in on our final weight of the night. 285 pounds, the heavyweight. The 4th ranked heavyweight in the land is Isaac Trumbull, North Carolina State, 15-3. 4-0 in ACC action, taking on the veteran, the 5th-year Peter Ming of Stanford.
Did a knee tap from a standing position, and he looks like he's developed to a full-size heavyweight. Trumbull, that is. Well, that 197 for the early part of his career, and he talked about how fun it is being at heavyweight.
No control.
Good action by these 2 big bodies to start this one. Now Trumbull
Take down.
hook up that near side leg, and he does, and he'll get the 3.
He's done that his whole career. Kind of just slides by, gets hip to hip, and puts that near side leg in to get the takedown.
Mentioned Trumbull, the 2-time NCAA qualifier, 22 and 23. Both times that was at 197. Utilized his red shirt last year in pursuit of Olympic glory, but used that time also to build this frame of his. And now, as you mentioned, Rock, looking the part of a legitimate threat at heavyweight. Head low there on that shot by Ming, so Trumbull was able to get to that corner. No points yet, but he's in a position to get the 3, and he does.
And Trumbull, even at 197, he was known for having what's heavy hips. When you shoot in on him, he really gets his hips on, pushing the pressure on his opponent's shoulders, neck area. He's known for that.
What's been the biggest nuance from him? You've watched him a lot throughout the years of success at 197, obviously off the mat collegiately, training last year for the Olympics, but now at heavyweight, man, he has just been a scoring machine.
You see that he just rolled his neck, he rolled his head, and the good thing about heavyweights is that you don't want to necessarily do penetration shots because you may get stuck. He just rolled his head, and he got to a point, and he would get some Turk, and this is what he's done. Could this be enough? This is a tough situation for Ming.
2 straight weeks he's had that Turk in. He finished Nolan Neves last week of North Carolina with the fall with this Turk that Esposito has worked so frequently with these Wolfpack wrestlers on. He has it applied here. He has it tight. Ming trying to bridge up and fight. Still lots of time, 16 seconds. Ming loses the headgear. Trumbull still looking for that fall. Down to 9. Ming just trying to fight to see another day, and it looks like he will. So give some credit to Peter Ming. When it looked like he was in serious jeopardy, he survives to get to the 2nd.
Watch him here, spins behind. This is where you see the heavy hips of them. And watch his 3rd takedown. He doesn't really even hit the mat. Roll his head, watch him roll his head. Roll his head from one side to the other side, stayed tight, and went right to splitting the legs to a Turk. You see that? Hooked it, and then it was just a fight for Ming. I'm getting excited about this heavyweight match for next week. Jimmy Mullen, who scores from every position, every angle, against a guy that, if you don't do a good shot, will make you pay.
Wouldn't that be something? We start traditionally at 25 and finish with a Mullen-Trumbull match to bring home the ACC title?
I tell you what, they can end in any match for Virginia Tech and NC State. I'm telling you, fans, this is not a Harrison hyperbole. Next week is going to be some good wrestling. Look at the heaviness of Trumbull.
Comes right in, drop down to the waist, immediately hooks up that knee and leg, and another takedown for Trumbull.
Let's go, Red.
And now he's sensing that Tech fall. He is going to cut and release. Blood in the water for the redshirt junior. Grew up in the Midwest, Springfield, Nebraska. Ming comes in on a real low submarine shot of his own. Kind of getting squeezed there by Trumbull, and
Danger.
keep a close eye on that.
No control.
No neutral danger. Ming still driving off that initial, but man, those hips, they are just like brick walls. They are tough to cut through, Rob.
And he's just going to get behind and get this Tech fall. Once he gets behind, it's going to be a three-point takedown. And there it is. Standing ovation for Isaac Trumbull. Played the part, delivered. NC State lining themselves up to go into Blacksburg next week. I can't wait. Floating on anticipation, Sean.
Isaac Trumbull, your winner by Tech fall. I know one person who loves what Isaac Trumbull has done, and that is his fiancée, Annabelle, the All-American swimmer here at North Carolina State. They've had to change their wedding plans to a couple of different dates. First off, the Kentucky Derby. They want to get married in Louisville. The Kentucky Derby is on May 4th, so they moved it to May 17th. Well, guess what? That's when the World Team Trials are. So on this Valentine's Day, Isaac Trumbull with a Tech fall win, and North Carolina State knocks off Stanford here, a final 27-13. The Wolfpack stay perfect in ACC competition, now 5-0. Stanford will take the loss as they get ready to have one more duel this weekend with the Duke Blue Devils. So NC State now 11-1 on the season, 5-0 in ACC competition. And Rock, they took care of business tonight.
Did what was expected to do. Good crowd. They wrestled smart. They had some wins that were gritty, and even in times that they did not win, they did compete, and that's what you want from your six-time defending tournament champions, NC State. But they were supposed to do it, but now they're just building up for next week. Next week, Blacksburg. We're going to bring in the coach of the Wolfpack, Pat Papalizio, who's done it again. Looking forward to next week. Coach, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
You all look very, very good. Tell me, what were you most pleased about during this dual meet?
Composure. You know, this was a great setting, and obviously wrestling a great team, and guys come in here, and you know, the stuff that we've been implementing in the last couple weeks with Coach Esposito, Coach Jack, and Coach Gant. I thought the guys went out and performed very well in that aspect, and a lot of good wins tonight for them.
Performing good. We look at 141 pounds, Mr. Holman.
Yes, that was great to see. You know, and that I think speaks volumes for this program and the culture. We asked him to weigh in and bump up a weight class tonight and perform against a top-level guy, and he showed up tonight. And sometimes that's how your time shines, and you make a name for yourself, and you get an opportunity, and he took full advantage of that.
We have to talk about your heavyweight. Isaac Trumbull, redshirting last year, new weight this season for him after the success at 197. Why is he exploding at this weight? I mean, he had success at 97, but it seems like he's taken it to the next level.
I think you're seeing a kid that was super disciplined in the years past, worked really hard to keep his weight down, and then you give them an opportunity to grow into that body and focus strictly on the sport and technique. And he did a lot of really good things tonight, stuff that we've been implementing as a staff, the Turks that you saw off the takedowns. And that's the difference now. Instead of running and cutting the weight, he's spending the time in the weight room, and having Gwizdowski back in town. I mean, it's a perfect storm coming together for heavyweights.
You're getting the job done again. I mean, you take a look at the body of work right now. You have some ACC champions redshirting. Here you are. You're 5-0. You have a chance to win another regular season title. Let's talk about that trip to Blacksburg next Friday night.
Yeah, we got to take it week to week with this team, and we have a lot of young guys on roster, and they're developing every week, and we're seeing different guys step up and perform. And that's our goal. That's been the conversation with this team this year is, let's focus on what's in our control. Let's get better every week. We'll worry about the next competition after we get through this one. And it's another great opportunity to go into a program that's got a great, rich history. And, these two teams, we're going to battle it out, and you're going to see a lot of great hard-nosed wrestling. And I know the guys are going to be excited to go into that environment.
Last question, Coach. Talk about your senior class.
Senior class, these guys have, when you look at how we've been able to maintain the level we're at, it goes back to guys like that. Guys that we get to wrestle, Hayden Hidley, who was on the coaching Stanford team. These guys, they create this culture and this dynasty that, we're trying to maintain. And so the senior class is bought in from day one, and they're out here performing and shining, and it's always great to leave them off with a win.
Well, Pat, congratulations winning senior night. We'll see you next Friday night. It's going to be the match of the year as far as the ACC goes. Looking forward to it.
Same. Thank you, guys.
Pat Papalizio and the NC State Wolfpack victorious here. Senior night in Raleigh, 27-13. They are able to take care of business. First ever meeting with the Cardinal of Stanford. Well, it's been a lot of fun spending another Friday night with you. Valentine's night. Coach Ayers brought his A game as far as the dance moves go. Senior night here in Raleigh. 7 seniors honored and recognized. The championship mentality for the pack continues. The showdown set next Friday night with Virginia Tech. The Rock Harrison, our fantastic crew. This is Sean Kinney saying so long from Raleigh.